Yarnsensation. Just click on my yarn lady or click the subscribe button. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Yarnsensation, and I am so happy that you are here with me today. And what I wanted to share in this video, I will be making a bag and I'm using a granny square to complete it. So with this granny square, we will have 10 rounds of double crochet, and then we will finish it off with 1 round of single crochet, and you will need to make 2. The notes about the rounds: so when we're doing the granny square, we're going to always have those 4 corners. So in those 4 corners, we will have 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 double crochet, and that will be in 1 stitch. And then along the sides for each stitch will be 3 double crochets and chain 1, and that will move you along the sides until you get to the corners. And just remember to chain 1 as you move to each stitch. So each row will start with a chain 3, and then we will put 2 double crochets in that same stitch. And at the end of each round, the last 3 double crochet, chain 2, will be in the same stitch as the beginning chain 3, 2 double crochets, and we will be joining to make that corner complete. And then also we will be changing colors as we work through the projects. A couple of rows will be the same color, and then 1 row will be different. But on the back, I will show you what it looks like by continuing that color and not cutting that color. But you have the choice where you can, at the end of the row where you see that I'm changing the color, if you do not want that staggered look, then go ahead and cut the yarn and just add your new color on and just keep cutting and replacing. But you're welcome to do it the way that I am doing it in the video. So it's in the bag. We have our fabric lining. You can prepare that lining. It's real simple. You do not have to do the measurements. You can just basically eyeball it by taking the completed granny square, placing it on top of the fabric, and tracing out the fabric lining to match your bag size. I know we all crochet differently in size, so my size may be a little bigger or smaller than what your finished project will be. So the safest bet is to just place that completed square on top of your fabric and cut it out. Once you cut the fabric out, then the next step will be to take it to your sewing machine. If you choose not to use the sewing machine, you can hand stitch it, and just remember to leave the opening, and I will show you my steps in this video as well. Start with a slip knot, chain 4, join in that first chain, chain 3, place 2 double crochets into the center, we're basically setting up our first corner. Next, you will chain 1. We will complete our second corner by completing 3 double crochets into the center, and then you will repeat your 3 double crochets, chain 1, 2 more times. You want to join by adding your second color. Pull on those yarn tails to make sure that everything is tight. And you will chain 3. This will start our second row, and what I will do is place a couple of stitch markers in each chain 1, and that will remind me of where my corners are, and this step is optional. Next, you will place 2 double crochets in that same stitch with your chain 3. And this is starting the first corner, but we're not completing the first corner. Next, we want to move to our second corner, so chain 1 and go to that second corner, and you will be placing 3 double crochets, a chain 2, and 3 double crochets. And you want to repeat that step, the 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet in each corner, and we will meet back at that first corner and we will complete the first corner. So to complete our last corner, remember chain 1 to move over to the next stitch. Place 3 double crochets into the same stitch with your chain 3 and 2 double crochets. And you want to chain 2. Remember to join. And we're changing color, so just pull up that next color. Once you have it joined, remember to pull your yarn tails to make sure that it is tight, and chain 3, 2 double crochets in the same stitch, chain 1, and now we have a side to work in. So you want to complete 3 double crochets, and as you're working, the sides will get longer or increase. And once you complete the 3 double crochets, chain 1, move over to that next corner and complete those 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and just work back around to the starting point and do as we did in the previous round to complete that first corner. We will not change color at the end of this round, so you can see we just continue with the same color and just continue our rounds. So at this point, we will just be repeating the same steps, doing our sides and our corners. So we're just continuing until we have a total of 10 rounds. So this is a view of the back of how it looks carrying the yarn tail. And remember, I said if you don't want that look, then you can always cut at each color change and just redo it. And with this particular one, it will be okay because we will be adding a lining to the back of the square. So at this point I am through with my second color, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. This will be our last round for the granny square. So next you just want to single crochet around the entire piece. Start with a chain 1, place that stitch marker as a reminder point, and you just want to place 1 single crochet in each stitch. And remember, where our chain 1, you will need to place a single crochet in that chain 1. It may be hard to get it, but a little wiggle, you can do it. And right next to it will be another single crochet. And just keep that in mind as you're going around, to always place a single crochet into that chain 1. So go ahead and crochet over to your corner and we'll meet there. And I am back at this corner. And with the corner, remember you have those 2 chains. So place a single crochet in each one of those chains. And what I do, I just place a stitch marker just for me. You do not have to place a stitch marker at this point. And next you just want to continue single crochet around the piece, and we will meet back at our first stitch marker. Once you get back to your first stitch marker, remove it and just join in that stitch with a slip stitch. And you can also block your granny squares once you're through, but I will not be blocking my granny square. Once you have finished, just chain 1 and fasten off. And the next thing you want to do is weave in these yarn tails, and this line that you see is where we were joining the different colors. And after you finish weaving in all your yarn tails, then go ahead and make your second granny square. So these are the photos of how I did to prepare my fabric for my bag. Only thing I did was lay the granny square on the fabric, cut the shape. I placed pins along the side, making sure to leave the opening not pinned, and then I took the piece to the sewing machine and stitched everything together. So next you need to prepare your granny square pieces, and you will be stitching everything together, and place a stitch marker in the corner where your chain 2 is at, and you want to do that for each corner. Once you have your stitch markers in place, you can pull your flaps down, and what I did was just count along the sides, and I did it on each side and also on the back spot, and then I marked it with my stitch marker. And to keep the pieces together, as I weave it together, I will just take the 2 stitch markers from the front and back piece and just interlock those together, and that will keep everything together up here. We do not want to close the top. That will be the opening to the bag. And once you're ready, just grab your yarn needle and enough yarn to weave the piece together. And you want to start at the top where you have your 2 stitch markers interlocked together, and just the usual, start with a secure knot and just weave the pieces together. And I use the inner stitches to stitch mine together. So everything is finished. That's the inside. So the next thing you want to do is grab your fabric piece, and this is really easy. You're just going to place it inside your bag, push the corners out, make sure everything is touching inside, your corners fitting in each corner, everything is laying flat. And once you're okay with it, just take your sewing needle and your thread and just grab the top stitches of your granny square and stitch your lining inside. Only to the top. You do not have to go inside the bag to stitch anything. So I have my lining inside. The next thing you want to do is place those magnetic snaps in your bag. And once you have those in place, the next thing you can do, if you want to place a little button, you can. I just used it, to give it a little pop. And I added pieces of yarn, just tied one to the inside around my magnetic snap. I will show you how I did that. See, it's just wrapped around and tied beneath that magnetic snap. And then I had 3 more pieces of yarn that I laid on top of the first yarn tail and just tied with a couple of knots. Make sure that they are secure. And I just did this as an option as well, so it's up to you if you want to add these yarn tails or pick another accessory to add to it and just trim up those yarn tails. And that's cute. So the next thing we will do is make our handle. So next we need to make our handle, and you want to chain 3. You will place 1 single crochet in that second chain from the hook and 1 single crochet in the last. Chain 1, turn your work, and you want to repeat 1 single crochet in each single crochet across, chain 1, turn until you have a total of 6 rows. For the next row, you will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 2 single crochets in the last stitch. Turn your work. You want to place 1 single crochet in the first stitch, 2 single crochets in the next, and 2 single crochets in the last. Chain 1, turn your work, 1 single crochet in the first, 1 single crochet in the next, 1 single crochet in the next, 1 single crochet in the next, and 1 single crochet in the last. And this will be the pattern. You will repeat 1 single crochet in each stitch until you reach the desired length of your handle. I did a total of 96 rows. Once you complete the number of rows needed, we will decrease. So in that first stitch, 1 single crochet, the next 2 stitches will be a decrease, and the last 2 stitches will be a decrease. Chain 1, turn your work, you will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch and decrease over the next 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work, you will place 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 1 single crochet in the next. Chain 1, turn your work, and you want to repeat until you have a total of 5 rows of 2 single crochets. Once you are complete, cut your yarn, leave a yarn tail to weave your handle onto your split rings. Next, you want your crochet bag, and just see where you want your handle. You can look at my picture and see exactly where I place my handle. Grab your split rings, and I have 4, and what I will do is just join those together and place them onto my bag. And next, just use that yarn tail and your yarn needle and join this handle onto the split rings. And remember, you will be carrying items in your bag, so you want to make sure that you have used as many stitches as you need to join this handle onto the split rings. And I am just doing a couple of secure knots just to be sure that it is joined, and just cut that yarn tail and repeat the same steps for the second split ring. Okay, and your bag is complete, and I hope you enjoyed making one with me. And remember, as always, choose the colors that you want. Make different ones, different colors, and I really did enjoy making this project, and it does not take that long to do it as well. And once again, thank you, and I will see you again for the next video.